Hello, and this is our interview for our LSH first assignment. And today I'm glad to have this fellow with me who will be doing our interview. So, hi, it's nice to meet you. And could I get an introduction of yourself?
My name is Lynn, and I'm 19 this year in FAC now.
Right, that's nice. Nice to meet you, Lynn. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Before I get into any serious questions, could I ask how have you been feeling lately overall?
It's quite stressful around this few weeks because there's a lot of assignments start to near to the due date, and then a lot of discussion going on. Yeah, so it's a little bit stress.
I see. Then how is there any way that you somehow cope with this kind of stress? Because you mentioned you face the stress like every day because of assignments, right? How do you deal with that?
When I feel stressful, I'll usually take a break, like quiet down myself. Maybe I go to sleep or like go shopping by myself, so that I can get up from the emotion, from the stress. And then when I start to get back to it, only I can be more clearly to manage all my works.
I see. Then when you manage your work, because I'm sure you have like a life outside of university as well, right?
Yeah.
Including assignments and your own personal life. So how do you balance your time between your personal life and your university life? How do you balance this in order to like maybe cut down some stress perhaps?
Okay, for me, I actually do part-time works. So during school days, as my schedule now is Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday we have classes. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday is the day that fully focusing on my academics, and Tuesday and Friday might for me to have part-times. That's all, and always academic come first before works and personal life. So I will settle down all my academic stuff like discussion assignment before I going out like until don't know what time.
Okay, that's a good way to manage stress actually. Now let's get to the other question. We have done a survey with multiple other students on how they think stress can affect their behavior, and the most common answer is they aren't able to rest properly when they feel stressed. This is the top answer according to our survey. What do you think about this? Do you agree that when you feel stressed, you feel like an inability to rest well?
Yeah, for me, I feel like it's quite hard to like fall asleep when I'm feeling stressed. Like in the night, my brain is keep on thinking that have I done all my assignment today? Have I done all the discussion today? Do I have any things need to do today? It makes me kind of hard to get a good sleep. Yeah.
Okay, and now for our final question. So based on that survey that we mentioned before, mostly reported is that studying is the most commonly reported cause of stress. Do you agree with this statement as a university student yourself?
Totally agree. No matter during secondary, primary, or until now university, studying is always the most stressful for me, I feel like. Because study is not just you sit down and listen to your lecturer, your teacher. Is you need to finish your homework, your assignment, and then you need to cooperate with your friends. You need to maintain the relationship between you and your friend, and also you and your lecturer. And then you need to worry about your exam. If you have an exam, you need to worry about it. Can I get a good score? You will keep on feeling very anxious on it. Yeah. For work, when you reach at your workplace, just listen to what your boss tell you, and then you just do. That's so easy. It's nothing like study. You need to lead someone else. You need to do. Yeah.
So there are lots of things to focus on when studying.
Yeah.
So that's why it's the most commonly reported source of stress.
I agree with your survey.
Yeah, you agree with my survey? That's awesome. So that's all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining me on this interview.
Thank you.
Yo.
Hey,
How have you been feeling lately?
I've been feeling alright. Things could be better, could be worse. The usual.
the usual. You're currently studying, right? Actually,
Yes, I
can you
am.
introduce yourself?
My name is Ryan Zikri, and I am currently in the final semester of Foundation in Communications.
Alright, nice to meet you, Zikri. Now that you mentioned about assignments, I want to ask, do you feel sometimes stressed when trying to, cope with all of this stuff?
100%. Like, coping with all of these assignments can be extremely overwhelming sometimes, especially in Foundation of Communications for us. A lot of our jobs are group related. They're
Yeah.
group related courseworks, and it relies a lot on group mates.
Yeah.
And maybe our tasks might not be the hardest thing in the world, but a lot of the time, the people we work with make it the hardest task in the world.
I agree.
So that's one thing for me.
Then
with
how
comms.
do you cope with this stress then? Is there like a method that you can...
I don't cope. No, I'm
You
just
don't
kidding.
cope? Wow.
I distract myself. I tend to do other things that I have interest in to put my attention away from the looming problems in front of me, like watch movies or spend stupid amounts of money on Legos or something.
Yeah,
like
okay.
That.
But still, your stress and school life is inevitable, right?
Of course.
Then how do you balance between, your university life assignments, between your personal life and doing things you like? How do you balance that?
I wouldn't say that I balance it well, but for me, usually, especially when I'm feeling overwhelmed,
Yeah.
I tend to list down the things I have to do in order of priority, and I try to prioritize on obviously the heaviest things first, like assignments,
Yeah.
and then I try to balance it with things that I like to do. Maybe after finishing assignment, I'll play a few games or watch a movie, and I continue with the next assignment, something like that.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to relieve stress actually. Actually, we have done a survey with multiple other students.
You
and-
have?
Yeah, we have. And
Wow.
there's this common thing among every single student that they believe stress can cause them to feel the inability to rest properly and relax. What are your
100%.
thoughts on that? Do you agree on this stats?
100% agree. For me, I'm a person that has like really high anxiety and I overthink a lot. So when I'm like really stressed, I can't really sit still. There's all sorts of things. I'm thinking of possibilities and different outcomes. So I can never really get good night's sleep if my work isn't done yet. Which is why I think it's definitely, your survey is right. 100%. I agree with that.
And according to our survey, there's another report saying that most of the students feel like studying is the number one cause of their stress. Does the same apply to you?
Honestly, I think this is a question that depends on what field of study that you're
that's
taking.
true.
I think back then in high school, I was in science stream. Things were definitely more stressful from academics. But right now, I think if I'm just talking about sheer academics in
Yeah.
FAC, it's kind of smooth sailing, well, for me.
Okay.
But if I had to choose one, I think the number one defining cause of stress for me would be social life
Social life.
and the people that I interact with on a daily.
That's very true too. Yeah, it's nice getting to know you, Zikri. Nice to meet
Thank you, Yvonne. You did not introduce
I did
your
not
name.
introduce my name, but yeah, thanks. Hey,
Hi.
how have you been feeling lately?
Pretty stressed, I guess you could say. I mean, with so many assignments coming up, it's hard to really handle them all, almost all at the same time.
That's
so yeah.
unfortunate to hear. I'm sorry to hear that. But before we say anything else, could I get your name?
Oh, I'm Chelsea.
Chelsea, it's nice to meet you, Chelsea. So I have a few questions since you mentioned about stress, right? So since you've been so stressed lately, how do you usually cope with all of this?
Well, usually, I mean, for me, I have a lot of ways to cope. I don't have one single way to cope. I just find whatever I can do. Like, it's either maybe going out, walking around the campus, or chit-chatting with a friend, or sometimes I also play games.
Oh,
It really
that's
depends
cool.
on the mood.
I see. Then it seems that you other than your uni life, you have other stuff that you like to do, right? For example, playing games, as you said. Then how do you balance between your university life, between assignments, and your personal life on your hobbies, on what you like to do? How do you balance between these two?
Well, I have a really strict rule for myself, and that is on Saturday and Sundays, I'm not allowed to touch any school related stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh.
like no assignments, no projects, nothing at all on weekends. Like weekends are solely for relaxing, you know. Yeah.
Oh.
And same goes the other way. On weekdays, Monday to Friday, I do still play, like try to have some me time, but I always limit it to like after 7 or 8 o'clock. Like after dinner time only, I can like do my own thing.
Oh, that's actually a really solid way to like have a balance between
I
these
try.
two. That's actually really good. Now, according to a survey that we've done with other students, they reported that the most common effect of stress is their inability to relax or rest properly. Does this apply to you, or do you have any other thoughts on this?
Actually, yeah, it does apply to me. Like, especially when I was in secondary school. I don't know why, but I hated the thought of playing playing before everything is done. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure when I like go out and do fun stuff before I finish my work. So yeah, I do relate with this even now a bit.
All right. Now, another thing that we mentioned in our survey is that it seems like studying is the most common factor between all of our students' stress. Do you think this is true? Does this apply to you?
Yeah, definitely. I think it applies to almost every student. Like, I mean, we're students now. Our duty is to study, right? So, it's kind of usually the stress comes from parents, usually yourself. But yeah, I do have this problem sometimes.
I see. Well, I hope that you'll be able to find a way to relieve all of this stress as well. Thanks for answering my questions, Chelsea. And
No problem.